Paladins. Paladins.
Paladins.
Paladins. Paladins. Paladins. Paladins. Paladins.
Paladins.
Paladins. Paladins. Paladins. Paladins.
Paladins. Quest.
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 Let me take you back. It's 2014. I'm really sick. My mother is sick. My brother is sick. And we need a TV show to binge. So we're going through Hulu and we come across this thing called The Quest. Now initially, I think The Quest is like a Legend of the Seeker or a Merlin. And it is kind of those things, but it's also a reality TV show. How do you make a fantasy reality TV show, you ask? Well, first of all, you get a bunch of nerds, you take them to Austria, you put them in a castle, and you give them a bunch of challenges in a reality TV show style, and you make them compete to be the one true hero of this fantasy realm. We loved it. We adored it. It got cancelled after one season. It became a running joke in the house, like, when is the second season of The Quest coming out? When is it finally gonna happen? Never. It's never going to happen. Nobody cares about this show except for you specifically. So, 2022. I've given up on The Quest a long time ago, and I'm sick again. I'm looking for something to binge once more, and I see something called The Quest. Well, hold on now. A beautiful, wonderful, fantastic show is already called The Quest. You can't call yourself The Quest. That's rude. Unless this is The Quest. It was The Quest. It was The Quest. The Quest had finally come back. Quest 200 more years. Quest 1,000 more years. Quest forever. Quest eternal. It should be noted, this is not a season 2, it is a revamp of the original show, and today I would like to talk to you about a thing that I really like.
Paladins. Paladins.
Paladins.
Paladins. Paladins. Paladins. Paladins. Paladins.
Paladins.
Paladins. Paladins. Paladins. Paladins.
Paladins. Quest.
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 So, Old Quest v New Quest, right? The Quest's new innovation is that it is reality TV show meets scripted drama. To facilitate this, there are a couple of different storylines throughout the show. The primary thread is that a sorceress called Tavora is trying to take over Everrealm.
Tavora has proven herself unstoppable, and you believe an empty old crown can save us.
The legends are true.
They speak of a day when the fates will summon heroes from another realm.
To be clear, the heroes are children.
Protect them when a great evil threatens Everrealm.
And all other realms. According to King Magnus, they're already on the way.
I'm pretty sure Everrealm is a bit like Middle-earth in that it's a region, not a specific kingdom. So the original season of The Quest takes place in Sanctum, but the new season of The Quest takes place in Aura. So you're probably wondering, do you feel bad knowing this much about a fantasy world made up for a reality TV show? And well, first of all, that's rude of you. Second of all, no, I don't. Shut up. There are other plot threads throughout the show besides the primary one. For example, those are the heirs of Sanctum, and they are fighting over the throne. We have our court wizard turning evil. We even have a romantic subplot thread throughout the show. For the majority of the show, the kids spend their time with a character called Mila. Mila's basically what I would consider the host of the show. She's nice, she's pretty supportive, she appears to be a soldier. She maybe is a bit stiff, but she's not Sir Ansgar, that's for sure. The original show had a chap called Sir Ansgar as the primary host of the show. I don't really know how to describe his vibe, so here are some clips of Mila and Ansgar as contrast.
I trust that you all are settling in.
Mila, we were all wondering.
Aura, you've been invited to a royal dinner. Siri, would you hold this for me? Oh, of course. I'm grateful. You know, if it hadn't been for King Magnus, Tavora has taken too much, and I need you to stop her.
Get out, everyone! Put it on. Put it on right now. Move, I said! I don't care about you. Nothing would be here anymore. You need to know what's going wrong. Hurry up, everyone! Don't hesitate. You may eat. Don't you say it, don't you get it?
To be totally honest with you, I love the severity of Sir Ansgar. I think it instills a sense of urgency in the players. As much as I love small girl with sword and glowing orb, I'm also very fond of Viggo Mortensen look-alike yelling at me. Besides Mila, there are the three royals. I tend to think of the three royals as the mascot characters of the show. It's a bit of a three houses situation, you know, they all have distinct personalities and themes. We have Princess Adelaine, Prince Emmett, and Prince Cedric.
Who's the eldest out of the three of you?
Interestingly enough, we are all the exact same age.
We were gifted to King Magnus by the fates.
Who do you think is best suited to take the throne?
Each of us believes it should be us.
I think Prince Emmett is the one that gets the most screen time because he's half of a romantic subplot.
It shouldn't take long for...
I'm in love.
Yes, this show has a romantic subplot. It is a reality TV show with a romantic subplot, and I think that's pretty great. Beyond this, he is a wizard. The others might not get as much screen time, but they definitely have their own moments to shine throughout the show. For example, my absolute favorite moment in the whole show is when these two girls are feeling really down on themselves because they haven't got any talismans from any of the games, and Princess Adelaine shows up.
It's a beautiful thing to want to help people. Don't doubt yourself because you didn't win. You were both called here by the fates. Because of your skills, your intelligence. You're both warriors. You find confidence from inside of you. Not from a talisman, but inside of you.
This scene is unscripted, it has to be, there's no way it can be scripted. So that means that they actively saw that these two kids were sad, and they sent one of the actors to go cheer them up in character. And I think that's just great. I think that's amazing. Not only does it make for good television, but it also shows that they actually care about how the kids are feeling. The very next day, they go out of their way to make sure that those two girls get a talisman. They basically rig this really simple encounter where the kids are prompted to choose whether or not they want to give food to a homeless woman that they pass. Those same two girls are the first to give her their food. Later it turns out the homeless woman was one of the fates.
Weren't you begging outside the castle?
She's so surprised, it's so sweet.
What are you doing here?
I don't know how to explain what the fates are. They're just senior in charge magic ladies, I think.
Myra and Tashani, for your kindness, we honor you with these talismans.
Whoa. They're both so surprised, it's so sweet. Also, there's this really good bit where one of the girls gets mad at Prince Emmett for not giving the homeless woman any food, which I think is pretty fair.
Why don't you guys give them food?
There are more important things right now, Tashani. More important things right now, Tashani. More important things.
What's more important than people starving to death?
I mean, he can't have done it because he was at the front of the line, and it's whoever gives the food first that gets the talisman, so he can't do it. Story-wise. But also, it's weird that he didn't. It's weird that none of them did. It's a really smart addition that shows that they care about how these kids feel, and that's just, to me, that's what makes this show so lovely. They just genuinely want to show these kids a really good time, and I just love it. It makes me so happy to watch this show. The original Quest also had its moments of improv genius. One of my favourite moments from Quest Classic is when Bonnie Gordon, one of the players, writes a song for Sir Ansgar.
When he rides on his horse, he's an unstoppable force. Raise a glass for Sir Ansgar appears. And women swoon from his gaze as he handles his blade. Raise a glass for Sir Ansgar appears. His stare is like ice when he says, "Don't be so nice."
It's so good.
For Sir Ansgar
It's so good. Oh
and
my God.
every blow landed when he fought an ogre. Single.
They did this without prompting! This is how you know you've made it as a DM. Oh my god.
I'm flattered.
It's moments like these where the players earnestly engage with the world that you start to realize the quest is actually pretty special.
Paladins, paladins, paladins,
Paladins.
paladins, 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 paladins,
Paladins!
paladins, 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 paladins.
Paladins. Quest.
Quest.
In particular, all the actors seem really invested in making sure the kids have a good time and enjoy themselves and are genuinely really proud of them. And I can think of quite a few instances where it's just like obvious and plain.
You've been tried and tested, but
Yes.
yes.
Well done.
Thank you.
And Myra, your crown is as beautiful as mine.
Thank you. But a standout in this regard is definitely King Silas, who just absolutely looks like he adores these kids. And it's a shame that he's not in the show more, frankly.
It's very kind of you. I'm very proud of you. This was a pleasant surprise, Paladin Serene. Very good. Very good. Young lady,
Yes.
what have you learned about yourself so far in this quest? Stand straight. There. I'm very proud of you, Paladin David.
He's great. He's sweet. He's earnest. He's very lovable. I love him. I love him a lot. Cedric's chance to shine comes from one of the more immersive games. The kids have to free him from a really complicated cage while staying hidden from his captors. He doesn't get a lot to do, but I feel like if he did, he would give off some real Gaston at the Disney parks energy.
I I know you're the one true hero and everything, but please don't lose the King's Stone. Don't worry, I won't. Good.
Most of the games attempt to be immersive to some degree, but some of them are a lot more successful than others. The original quest had most of the games as training under Sir Ansgar.
You will learn to ride. All that you have learned will be tested in a military exercise.
Whereas the new quest attempts to make them a little bit more a part of the story. Story-wise, the kids have to collect 4 gems, and each gem is owned by a gem keeper. The gem keepers are noteworthy because they are fantastic examples of really great monster makeup.
You've come for the gem of courage.
It's kind of a massive upgrade from the original, frankly.
Wow.
Stop here! He needs help, let's go!
This right here is their very first challenge and their very first gem keeper. It's great monster makeup, and when they win, they take the gem out of his eye. Like, literally, it's practical. One of the kids reaches in there and takes out the gem in their eyeball. It's awesome. Oh my god, that's so much fun. I love it. And then in episode 2, we get this guy. There's not much to say about him other than I love him. He's great. He's only in one episode. They don't do the monsters past like episode 4, but I think they're great. Look at him. Look at him. Look at those horns. They look like tree trunks. I love it. In episode 3, we get this guy. He's okay. I don't love him. I don't hate him. He slinks through the trees, even though I'm pretty sure this is the Californian summertime. And the sun is hitting these kids like crazy. And he's wearing like a smoking jacket or a bathrobe or something. He's not my favorite. He's not my favorite. In episode 4, we get this one, and she's...
Oh my gosh.
It's not great. I'm gonna be honest. But those other ones, am I right? Woo! As the show goes on, though, the games start adding up, and they start integrating with the story a little bit more seamlessly.
The beacon of Karu still stands here, but the beacon of Solas here must be rebuilt.
Paladins, this is your task.
Here's another example.
Now we must reveal their true intentions before great damage is done. Is that understood?
Yes.
Now somewhere in these scrolls is the instructions we need to create a magical truth serum.
This one is actually kind of a rework from the original show.
If we can find a match for the symptoms of the Queen, if we find the symptoms, we can find the antidote.
The game is that the kids have to go and collect the right ingredients and then pour all of the ingredients into a cauldron in synchronization, which turns out to be actually pretty difficult for them. The best part about this game is not just that it's integrated well into the story, but also that it has a punchline.
Is that we just need a thimble's worth. Perfect, there we go.
And best of all, it's got this really great prop work. I have no idea how they did that. I don't know if it's a chemical reaction or something that was just set to happen on command by radio signal or something, but it's really cool. The kids are impressed. I think it's really fun. It's fantastic. Actually, Mila looks pretty impressed too.
Paladins.
Another interesting example of story and game integration is in episode 5 when the kids have to reflect a light off of a bunch of shields. It's the first and only game that the kids fail at. The fail state is that a bunch of guys that work for the villain escape the castle. After the fact, this happens.
What the?
Who?
This is Tavora, the bad guy of the show that I mentioned earlier. The kids have never interacted with Tavora. Throughout the entire show, they have only ever heard of her and how scary she is. This is their first interaction, and some of them are genuinely, like, scared here, and it's really cool. In the original quest, the bad guy was more of a monster than he was an actual human being.
Now, a land under siege by Verlox, the darkness.
So you could sort of understand why they had never personally spoken to him. But because Tavora is an actual human woman who has made choices, it seems kind of odd to have that degree of separation. So, even though I just said this was really cool, it's also kind of a big problem because this happens on a fail state. And the kids only ever fail once. Dungeons & Dragons is a unique game because when you fail at something, and I'm saying fail in air quotes, it's usually just an opportunity for the DM to give you another quest, or a monster to fight, or just something else to do. So I think it's kind of a shame that the kids only ever fail, again in air quotes, once throughout the whole show, because it creates a genuinely fun fail state for them. Maybe going forwards what the show needs is some trickier challenges, or maybe just more challenges so that when they fail it's not quite as cataclysmic, but you can also have those fun, interesting fail states for the kids to explore and play with.
Paladins.
One of the other problems that the show has is that the kids aren't as confident as adults. More often than not, you'll get these odd scenes with these awkward silences because the kids aren't sure if they can interrupt the actors. There were a couple of moments like this on the original quest, but in general the adults were much more willing to butt into conversation and improv with the characters. Here's a pretty good example of what I'm talking about. In this scene, the kids have been told that their quest is over. This is the low point in the story, and really what they should be doing is objecting and insisting that they can still pull it out. But they don't, because they're kids, it's an intimidating LARPing experience, and they don't want to step on anybody's toes. You can see the actress playing Mila look around at the kids, just to like prompt them, maybe with her eyes, maybe convince them to do something.
No.
See what I mean? It doesn't feel quite intended for it to happen that way. Here's another example of when the kids are supposed to be a little bit more engaged.
You must help us, please. Can you help us find my brother?
Yes, we will find him.
The only genuine, legitimate issue I've ever had with the show is that the finale kind of sucks. The finale sucks because it seems to all be scripted. I mean, what enjoyment are these kids gonna get out of this if they're just handed a script and they're told they're part of a scripted drama now? I sincerely hope that this wasn't all scripted and the kids weren't just actors for this part. I really hope that it was still engaging for them and immersive to some degree. For the final part of the show, the kids face down Tavora in a courtyard. It doesn't really work. Tavora is a woman, not a monster. They do, however, do this, which is very fun.
Paladins.
Some guy in monster makeup you don't really need to build up a rapport with, but she's not in monster makeup, she's just a lady. She has choices, she's more human. I've been giving it a lot of thought the past couple of days I've been working on this video on how to improve the finale. My initial thought was to have like an expansive dungeon, but honestly you probably don't have the budget or the time to build something like that, nor can you guarantee that the kids would succeed going through it. My second thought was to have one final game where the one true hero does the same game as the villain and they're competing. Then I realized that was kind of stupid as well. The best moments of the quest are the moments where the players get to interact with the story and to change what happens. It's the same with every tabletop RPG experience. The best part of games like these are when the players leave their mark on the world. Mass Effect is a not very good video game, but it's also one of my favorites. At the end, you have a chance to persuade the villain, Saren, to shoot himself. It doesn't cut out the boss fight at the end, but it does cut out a phase of the boss fight. I think this works pretty well in Story World, mostly because throughout the game you've heard these accounts from people that Saren is actually a pretty moral guy. And at the time I was a kid, so it absolutely amazed me that I could do this. I thought I was such a big-brained genius. My honest-to-God suggestion to the quest here would have been, let the kids talk Tavora down. Let them take ownership of the story. She has a backstory, she tells one of the characters about it in the show. So let the kids collect information about her throughout the entire show, episode by episode. If you told the kids that she had been banished by her village for using magic one time, they'd probably be pretty sympathetic to her. They might even try to resolve things peacefully, and I think in a kids show, that's pretty neat. And what happens should be their choice.
Thanks to my teammates and my family, I know that I am enough.
Everyone was helping each other.
Even though we think you both deserve it, seeing you guys keep going, it motivated me to keep going.
It's about all of us and helping each other. I think everybody deserves it, not just us.
I am very proud of you.
Whoa. We'll all work together and prove ourselves for sure.
I feel like this team has the potential to be great.
I think they both deserve it equally.
This is a pleasant surprise, Paladin Serene.
We all accomplished something. We all worked together to get this.
Maybe your victory, sir.
Definitely my team.
Us 8 together are probably the best combination of people for this job.
No, I don't really consider this my win. I consider it everybody helped me.
The original Quest Classic found me at a time that I really needed it, so I can't deny that I've imprinted on it to a certain extent. And then the new Quest found me at a time I needed it yet again. I mean, 2022 hasn't exactly been easy. My taste in media tends to lean towards the cheesy and the silly because I just kind of like stuff that's totally comfortable with itself. Which is not to say that I don't like intelligent adult dramas, I definitely do. But there's something special about a piece of media that just isn't taking itself too seriously and is just inviting you to have fun. The Quest has a lot of good things going for it. Hard work, honesty, fun. Its integration with scripted drama is what makes it unique, but the players are always what will make it special. Okay, now that that's over, here are a couple of rapid-fire quick suggestions for the next season. Okay, here we go. Number 1, better outfits for Princess Adeline. I think she should have some cute dresses. She is a fantasy princess, and it is weird that she's not wearing cuter outfits. Okay, suggestion 2, we bring back Bonnie Gordon as a bard of some kind. Just like in an episode, maybe she sings them a song, you know, some real cute stuff. Suggestion 3, Ansgard comes back in some capacity. It could just be a cameo. I just think he did a great job in the first season. He should be back just to say hi to. Suggestion 4, an opposite colored rival for Mila. I think, you know, like another small girl, but maybe with darker hair. She wears primarily red instead of blue. Just, you know, like a Shadow the Hedgehog to her Sonic. That kind of thing. Suggestion 5, more villain interaction for the next season. It's really fun when they get to interact with the villain. I think they should do it more. Suggestion 6, go back to Austria because that castle was rad. Suggestion 7, dorms for the kids. Can you imagine how psyched the kids would be if the places that they got to stay had like a bunch of set dressing and maybe like potion bottles in the shelves and some old-timey books and like cute beds? They would love that. Suggestion, whichever one we're on. I think 8, let the kids pick their own outfits. I feel strongly about this one. What if when the kids got to the law, they were given a series of chests with outfits in them, and then they could all dress themselves for the quest? They can still wear like a sash or maybe like a belt with a sword on it to identify them to the actors as players in the game. But, you know, the kids should be able to show their personality. Maybe they can wear like one of those bard hats, little feathers, maybe they get to wear vests, maybe they get to wear dresses, big boots, that kind of thing. Suggestion 9? Come on. The final game should feature the villain versus the heroes. Just let them lock that final interaction. Let them show all of the attention that they've been paying. That's it. I hope you enjoyed. Can't wait for the Quest Season 2!
Paladins.
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 Paladins. Paladins. Paladins. Paladins.
Paladins.
Paladins. Paladins. Paladins. Paladins.
Paladins Quest.
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 Forever!